Hey there, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So, I had a chance to check out one of the movies that I've been really looking forward to, and it's called Karate Kid Legends. It's basically telling the story about Li Fong, who is a kung fu prodigy who has to relocate to New York with his mother, and then he later attracts unwanted attention and he embarks on a journey to compete in the Ultimate Karate Tournament. And he has to turn to the most iconic masters who knows kung fu and one who knows karate, which is Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso. Back then, when Sony announced that they were going to do Karate Kid Legends, I was like, why are we doing the Karate Kid Legends when we already have Cobra Kai, which is basically a sequel to the Karate Kid movies, and it's continuing off the Karate Kid saga? And I love the show. I'm a big fan of the Cobra Kai show. I loved mostly all of the Karate Kid movies. Maybe not all of them. There were some of them that were not as good, like Karate Kid Part 3 and the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank, the one of the most forgotten movies of the installment of the franchise. When they did Cobra Kai, I was a little skeptical in the beginning, but when I watched the show for the first season of Cobra Kai, I absolutely freaking loved it. I was hooked. They brought back Johnny Lawrence, who was the main antagonist of the original film, and they made him a main character. And then they were bringing back Daniel LaRusso, played by Ralph Macchio, and they're two at rivalries with one another. And that show blew up on YouTube originals. Then it later moved over to Netflix, and I've been a fan of the show ever since. And I really love the original Karate Kid movie, and I even liked the remake of the film with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, which I didn't know at the time that they were actually going to connect these two in the same universe when they announced it during the time the promo from Sony. And they announced that Daniel LaRusso was going to return, Mr. Han was going to return. They're going to have Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio in the same movie together to be the mentor of this new Karate Kid, which is the actor Ben Wang. And I will say, I thought Ben Wang, who was playing the lead character, absolutely crushed it. He has such great charisma. He's very charming, very charismatic. He looked like he could definitely lead a movie. He had been in a few small roles, and then he had a big role, which is a show that was on Disney Plus that got canceled. The show was called American Born in China with Michelle Yeoh, which I'd never seen that show, and it got canceled after the first season on Disney Plus. I mean, I'm not really familiar with Ben Wayne's work, but after seeing him in the movie, he definitely can carry a movie. And he's in his mid 20s, but he's playing, I believe he's playing a 15, a 16-year-old kid. I don't know his age precisely, I can't remember, but I thought he did a great job. Now, with the reviews have been very mixed, I was a little disappointed that it didn't get a good word of mouth because I really enjoyed those trailers. It looked like they were actually making a real movie, not feeling like it's a cash grab. Because I will admit, I was very skeptical when they announced that they were going to have Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio connecting in the same universe with the remake of the Karate Kid film and the original, and trying to merge into one and trying to make them coexist in the same universe. Because if you watch the remake of the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, it had nothing to do with karate. It was just kung fu. It was more of kung fu than karate, and they labeled it as a Karate Kid because they wanted to know that this is a remake of the original film, but in a different settings, but a different fighting technique from a different culture. Which, yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed that film for what it was, and I thought Jackie Chan was amazing in that movie. And I was willing to keep an open mind, but when I saw the trailers, it really hooked me. Like, oh my God, they really are going to tackle it very well. And they labeled them like they were going to be in the whole film to be the mentor figure to Li Fong's character. And I will say, after coming out of the theater, I will say that I really enjoy this movie. Now, here's the thing. I can understand why that the critics were very mixed and very disappointed by the results, because if you when you watch this movie, it just seems like that we are seeing two different movies that are merged into one, where it kind of didn't know what it really wanted. But when you get into the first half of the film, all the whole focus was on Li Fong, played by Ben Wang, and when you watch throughout the whole movie, you completely forgot that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio was even going to show up in the film. You completely forgot that they were going to be in the movie. Now, here's the thing. They do play a little bit of a few callbacks to what we have seen before, and I thought they did it well. I didn't feel like it was forced. Some people may thought it was forced, but I disagree. I thought it was done well. And This is a movie that you can actually watch it on your own without having to watch the previous Karate Kid movies or even watch Cobra Kai. But I was a little bummed that we didn't get a lot of screen time with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio because if you watch throughout the whole movie, you only see Jackie Chan's character, Mr. Han, for only a few minutes at the beginning, and then he kind of drips away when we focus on Li Fong's character and him try to like struggle and try to maintain his personal life with his high school problems. Yeah, there is a little love story which is done in the original film and the remake that has already been done a couple of times before, and especially in Cobra Kai. Uh, the actress is Sadie Stanley, who is playing Mia, the love interest to Li Fong's character. I thought the two of them had a great on-screen chemistry. I never felt like that they forced a love story. I felt like it was natural and organic. I was really hooked by between the two of them. And Joshua Jackson, who was playing Mia's father, who was a boxing champion, then turned into the owner of the pizzeria, and he's going through a lot of debts. And Li Fong's character is going to have to help him pay his debts and teach him how to fight properly and get back in the ring. I had completely forgot that Joshua Jackson was in the film because he was only mentioned during the in an interview during the press tour of this movie, but they never put him in any of the trailers. When you watch that first half, I feel like you're watching a completely a different film. But then when the second half comes, when everything escalates, we see that with Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso coming in and helping him, teaching him how to fight to compete in the Ultimate Karate Tournament. Not just knowing kung fu with the take off the jacket and pick up the jacket technique. He's gonna have to learn how to do karate, the Miyagi way, which is wax on, wax off. And I will say that I enjoy the screen time with Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso. I thought Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio had a great on-screen chemistry. I ate it up, even though they didn't have as many screen time as we were hoping for. And I will say that I got pissed off for a moment that we didn't get a lot of them because in the marketing campaign, they labeled them like they were going to be in the whole movie. That and it was in the posters and it was in the trailers. That's what we thought, and we were misled. And I don't blame the director or anyone who was involved making this movie. I blame the studio for kind of misleading us and making us believe that they were going to be in the whole film. Now, look, granted, we already know that this is not their story. They're here to serve the lead character, which is Li Fong. This is his movie. So we tend to forget that sometimes. So I went in there and just judge it on its own merits, and I will say that I really enjoyed it. It was a solid film, not one of the best films of the year, not by any means. Now, the fight choreography was definitely hands down dope. I really love the fight technique, and it seems like that Ben Wang did most of his own stunts in the movie, and he crushed it. Like I said before, this kid has a future. I mean, he's in his mid-20s playing a high school kid, but he makes it very believable, and I think that he has a great potential doing more, and I hope that the studio don't sleep on it for his performance. I hope they see his performance and proving that he does have a lot of charisma and have what it takes to be the lead. He has a lot of potential, and I do not want to see it to go to waste. He's fantastic in the film. And the main antagonist, who is the bully, the one who challenges him in the tournament, and his character is Connor and is played by Aramis Knight. Like, he's what we expected. He's a one-note villain, kind of like what they did with Johnny Lawrence in the original Karate Kid movie. And you want the more focus on the hero instead of the villain, which I wish they would have this movie been a little bit longer to establish the main antagonist a little bit more to understand his story. We do get a little bit of a brief of it, but not as much, because in the second half of the film follows that same formula, what we saw in the original Karate Kid movie and the remake, which is a kid who has to relocate, start fresh. He gets into unexpected situation with a bully, and he's being forced to fight, and he's going to need a mentor to train him, which is something that was done in the original film in the remake. Which, yeah, I understand that people were not very pleased by it, but for me, as long as they try to execute it and make a good movie and give us a little bit of a different flavor and different experience, then it's all forgiven. It doesn't really matter, no matter what. But I will say that the criticism I have is that I wish the movie would have been a little bit longer. I wish that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio's character showed up a little bit sooner, because it seems to me, I mean, not to play comparison here, but it seems to me they played it off like they did, like what Sony did with Spider-Man No Way Home. You have Peter Parker, Tom Holland's Peter, facing off with these villains, and everything escalates, and he's going to have to turn for help, which is Toby and Andrew. Basically, Ralph Macchio, who is the OG Karate Kid, is the Tobey Maguire figure, and Jackie Chan is literally the Andrew Garfield of that version. It felt like the same formula. And then Ben Wang, his character is basically the Tom Holland Spider-Man, which this is a minor spoiler, but they name dropped Spider-Man reference in this movie for only a brief moment, but it was not forced. But all I could say is that I enjoyed it for what it was. I wish they could have done a little bit more. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said before, it's not one of my favorite movies of the year. Would I watch this movie again? Of course I would. Would I buy it? Of course. It's a good, solid movie, and it's a good time at the theater. A lot of the people in the theater were having a good time watching this. And I will say that one thing I want to bring up that I thought that the mother, played by Ming-Na Wen, which you may have known her, she was the voice of Mulan. She's been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's been in a lot of roles, and I think she's fantastic. She has not aged a day. She was also in The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and she was also in the Book of Boba Fett. She's a great actress, and I love that the bonding moment between her and the son Li Fong. I thought that was great. And I will say that there is a big cameo that you may have known, and I won't say who, but I thought that was a cute cameo, a good throwback to the Karate Kid in the Cobra Kai. But I thought that was a great cameo, and was it a necessary cameo? No, but I enjoyed it. It was cute. I hope that this movie does well, but I have a feeling that it's not tracking very well at the box office, and that not a lot of people are going to go see it. I say give it a shot. Even if you're not a fan of the Karate Kid movies, I think you're going to watch it without getting lost and confused because it's basically a standalone story. And yeah, there's going to be callbacks and Easter eggs to the movie, but it really stands on its own. And I would have loved to see more with Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso screen time because I think that those two had a great chemistry. I hope if they ever make another one, which I don't know if they're going to do it now because it's not tracking well at the box office, but I still would have loved to see more of it. It has potential, but I feel like they kind of didn't hit the mark the way that the marketing was leading us to. That's one of my complaints of the movie. But I still thought that the positives outweighed the negatives. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you have seen Karate Kid Legends. And if you like this review, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you know when my videos are up. And if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.